Today we will start our revision work, the chapter 3 electoral politics. So here some of the important questions we will revise for our exam. So here first question is that what makes an election democratic? What are the features that says that Indian election is democratic way conducted? So here first of all we will see in a democratic country elections are held after every 5 years. Number 2, elections should be conducted free and fair manners. All the political parties and the candidate must have contest freely in election. One person has to be one value, one vote equals to one value. So these three features are says that Indian election is a democratic way. So number 2 question is that write any 3 demerits of electoral competition. In India more than 750 political parties are there. So they contest in general election, by-poll election and local election. It means the panchayat election. So in every constituencies all the political parties are contest. So during this time what is the demerit of contest in election? Number 1 is that in a society it creates or generates the sense of disunity among the peoples. So peoples are divided according to their supportive political parties. So this generates, this develops the disunity, dissatisfied among the societies. Number 2, some good peoples they do not want to join or enter into the political parties because due to the corruption level it reaches in our country. So they want to really give their social service, but not through the political party. Number 2. Number 3, candidates in electoral competition who ask for vote on communal and caste lines destroy the society's the good sense of establish. Nowadays political parties what they are doing during the election campaigning in the name of religion, caste, language, food they ask to vote for them. So these are the demerits of electoral politics. Next question we will see that describe any 3 functions of the Election Commission of India. What are the important functions or 3 functions of the Election Commission of India? The major functions of the Chief Election Commissioner of India, so he takes all the major decisions regarding the election. When the general election, by-poll election, local government elections will be started, when people will be polling, and next when the pollings, votes will be count. These dates are clearly announced or declared by the Chief Election Commissioner. He is the fully authorization by the government to take the major policy regarding the election. Number 2, तो इलेक्शन कमीशन can implement the code of conduct. He has the power to implement the code of conduct. What is the code of conduct? During the election time, so he implements some laws which are called the code of conduct. So no political party can be asked any citizens to vote in the name of religion, caste or gender. Number two, no political party can be use the government buildings, temples, churches, gurudwaras for the election campaigning. And no candidate, political parties can be threatened to any citizen to give the vote, to cast their vote in the name of religion or caste. These are the election code of conduct, the implemented by the Chief Election Commissioner. Clear? So, and it controls the government officers, those who are posted on the election duty. During this time, government has no any power. Entire power is rested in the hands of a Chief Election Commissioner. And those who the officers are work under the government, so Chief Election Commissioner can be transfer them to one place to another place. So these are the three features or powers or functions of the Chief Election Commissioner. Next question was that general election and by-poll election, it was there. Okay, just you see that a general election is what? In a country at a time, in the entire nation, for the 543 constituencies, when election is conducted, this is called the general election. It may be held in a same day or after a few days or a same time. So by-poll election, it is conducted in only one or two constituencies. When it will conducted, when a candidate will be give the resignation or death, then only the limited one or two constituencies the elections are held. This is known as the by-poll election. Next, we will move to the next chapter, working with the institution. Here some questions that we have already discussed. Mention any legislative powers of the President of India. Legislative powers. Number one, the President neither the member of Lok Sabha nor the member of Rajya Sabha. He or she takes the important role in the Parliament. All the international agreements are done in the name of President by the Prime Minister. Next, the President has the power to send messages to either House of Parliament, either regarding any pending bill or any other issues. President has the power to send the bill to the Lok Sabha. When a bill is passed as a law in the Parliament, then to get it consent, the Lok Sabha can send it to the President. President can be observe it, look it, either this law is on the basis of a constitution, then he or she can be sign and seal over it. But if these laws are not good for the country and the citizens, then she or he can send it back to the Lok Sabha 3 times. So President has the power. So again, if Lok Sabha will send it to the President the 3 times, then on the advice of a Council of Ministers, the president has to bound to force to sign over it, then it can be accepted or implemented as a law in the country. Clear? So next, difference between the powers of the president of USA and the president of India. What is the powers of president of USA? So USA president is elected directly by the citizens or adults, but in our country the prime president is elected by the indirectly by. Who are elected the president of India? The members of Lok Sabha, the members of Rajya Sabha, and the every state's elective legislative members and elective members of council. So this is called the electoral college. They cast their vote to elect the president of our India. So next, American president has free to choose the council of ministers, but our India, he exercises only the nominal powers. He is appointed for 5 years. This is features of parliamentary form of government in our India. This is the difference between the president of America and president of India. Next, we will see that here, give 3 differences between the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. 3 difference between. What is the Lok Sabha? First we will see that. Lok Sabha is the house which is known as the lower house and which is known as the house of people. Because the Lok Sabha members are elected directly by the citizens. The total number of MPs of Lok Sabha is 543 from the entire nation, and 2 are nominated by the president. They are the Anglo-Indians. Okay. So next, this Lok Sabha can be dissolved after every 5 years or before the expiry of its date. Rajya Sabha members are elected indirectly way from the elected legislative members or legislative member of a council. So this is known as the permanent house, and this house is called the upper house. Rajya Sabha members' tenure is for the 6 years. This house never dissolved. That's why this house is called the permanent house. So this is the difference between the Rajya Sabha. One important, I will say that when a financial budget bill pass in the Lok Sabha, then Lok Sabha can be sent it to the Rajya Sabha. So Rajya Sabha can be delay this financial bill for the 14 days. If a Rajya Sabha cannot send it to the Lok Sabha between the 14 days, then a Lok Sabha can be pass it, because the Lok Sabha has the power to pass the economic bill or financial bill. So Rajya Sabha knowingly delay it for the 14 days. So this is the special power of the Lok Sabha. So without consent of the Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha can be pass a financial bill. Clear? So next we will see here, describe the powers of the Supreme Court. What are the powers of the Supreme Court? So first of all we will see that the Supreme Court is the highest powers of the structure of the courts in our India. It resolves the disputes between the citizens and citizens. It resolves the disputes between the citizens and government. It resolves the disputes between the state government and state government, and it resolves the disputes between the state government and central government. So these are the powers of the Supreme Court. Okay, only 2 days are remain. Don't waste time. Concentrate on your studies. Thank you. Thank you. God bless you.